Hey, hi, hello, welcome back everybody. Today I wanted to do 25 bookish facts about me. I figured it was about time. I've never really done a video like this before. I haven't done a Q&A or anything like that. So I figured why not just do some facts about me, just a quick little list. You guys can learn a little bit more about me. Let me start with some regular facts. My name is Katie. I am 25. I live in Tennessee and I have a cat named Banjo. You've seen him in some of my videos before, hopefully. So my first bookish fact is that, and this is probably something everybody on this platform could say, but I have loved reading since I was very young. My mom was always really good about reading to me when I couldn't read myself. I would actually pick up the books and pretend to be reading when she wasn't reading to me. But when I got old enough to read, I would stash picture books under my bed with a flashlight, and after my bedtime I would put the covers over my head, turn on the flashlight, and read mostly Berenstain Bears. That was my go-to picture books when I was younger, and I would stash a stack of them and just read them until I fell asleep. My favorite author is Tana French. She writes adult mystery novels. She writes the Double and Murder Squad, which is one of my favorite book series of all time. Tana French just encompasses, if I were ever to be an author, everything that I would want to see in myself. She has beautiful prose and wonderful characters, unique mysteries, like the whole package. I think my second favorite author is definitely Leigh Bardugo. So they're definitely up there. Tana French and Leigh Bardugo they're probably tied for first, if we're being honest. The reason why I like Leigh Bardugo so much is she brings such unique creativity to all of her projects, and her world building is really fantastic. Her character relationships are so great. They're very different authors, but I admire them on the same level. My favorite video to film are actually vlogs, and I don't do them that often because they are the hardest to edit, because I tend to overfilm and have to chop things down, and you have to add music and vlog things that are interesting, but I really want to get better at vlogging and get more creative at vlogging, so hopefully I'll get some more vlogs coming to you guys soon. My favorite book of all time, and it has been since I read it, I believe in 8th or 9th grade, is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. My least favorite book is After by Anna Todd. That is a One Direction fan fiction, new adult. Horrible. My favorite childhood book, and so the Berenstain Bears series is definitely up there from when I was really little. Harry Potter doesn't count because that's just on a whole other level of favorite, nostalgia, all of the above. I think I want to say The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So we used to have this thing in 5th grade where my teacher would read like a chapter to us. It wasn't every day, it was like every other day she would read chapters of books to us, and that was my favorite because my mom wasn't reading to me as much as I got older and started devouring books. So she read, I distinctly remember she read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the first book in the Chronicles of Narnia, first book, you know what I mean. And she had an extra copy of the book, and I remember asking her multiple times if I could just take it home just to reread what we've already read, because I wanted to finish the book because I was so intrigued by it. So I think The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is up there. Ella Enchanted is also up there. I remember really loving Gail Carson Levine's. I loved all of the Newbery Medal Award winners that we had to read in like 5th, 6th grade. I loved so like Sharon Creech, Walk Two Moons, she was one of my favorites. There was a bunch of really, really great. My school system was really good about literature throughout the entire school system, so there's a bunch of really good ones that we read, but Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe sticks in my mind, and so does Ella Enchanted. I really enjoy reading mass market paperbacks. I know people don't like that. That's a very unpopular opinion, but especially, I don't know if I have one close enough. Yeah, here's Game of Thrones right here. Especially very thick fantasy books, it makes me feel like I'm going through faster because I'm flipping the pages more. So I enjoy mass market paperbacks. Like, dang, I don't know. I do enjoy tall hardbacks, and Game of Thrones is a bad example because I have like 8 copies of this, but this is the first book that I read of Game of Thrones, so I don't know, there's something about mass market paperbacks that I really enjoy. Like, you're just reading so fast. Like, you're flipping so many pages, it makes you feel like you're getting through a really thick book really fast. It kind of tricks my brain a little bit, I guess. So I tend to, these days, I used to read pretty much exclusively physical books, and when I was younger, especially through high school, but these days I definitely get the majority of my reading done via audiobook. I travel a lot for work, so it just makes sense. Instead of listening to the radio or music, I just pop on an audiobook, and that's how I get most of my reading done. I would say definitely 50%, if not like 60 to 70% of my reading in the past 2 or 3 years has been via audiobook. And also, this is another random like shoot off of this. It's not an official fact, but I hate the fact that there even is an argument about audiobook being reading, because to me there's not even an argument. Like, there's not even a stance on the other side. Audiobook, you're consuming the story, so it's reading. It's fine. It blows my mind that people can argue about this. I wrote down the next fact as my favorite genre. My favorite genre is fantasy, and I think at some point, at one point, that was true, but I don't know if I have a favorite genre right now. I am definitely, last year and this year, I'm trying to branch out more. So I'm reading a lot of different genres. Nonfiction, I'm reading more contemporary than I have ever before, and sci-fi. And I think just because most of my favorite books are fantasy, that's why I tend to lean towards fantasy. It's kind of a comfort zone for me. So I think I'll still say my favorite genre is fantasy, but that could change in the near future, and it's not like fantasy's up here and all the other genres are way down here. They're very mix and match. I definitely think, again, for this video, it's hard not to say Harry Potter for everything, but my favorite book series is A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, especially the first 3 books. The last 2 get a little iffy, but overall as a series, it just brings to the table so much. I genuinely recommend the first book at least for people to try, especially if they're a fan of the show, because this book is just a masterpiece. I actually have been reading a lot of nonfiction lately, but that's something that I tend to listen to on audiobook, so I don't own a ton of nonfiction. I have some nonfiction that's like work related and nature, wildlife related, but I don't have a lot of like memoirs or history books that I tend to pick up. It's just something that I tend to listen to on audiobook. I think because nonfiction and memoirs, the trend is to have the author narrate the audiobook, so I just feel like that brings so much more to the table. My ultimate favorite character, fictional character, and this is a comic book series and a TV series, is Rick Grimes. I love him. My favorite female character tends to change, but the most consistent is Sansa Stark from the Song of Ice and Fire series. So I can't eat while I'm reading. I definitely sometimes will pick up coffee or tea or water. You wanted to come in here. I can't multitask. I can't sit down and eat something and also read at the same time. It doesn't work that way. I have started writing probably about 8 books since middle school. I love coming up with ideas, and I just don't have the tools to actually physically complete a book. So I'm working on improving that skill, especially this year. I am usually reading multiple books at one time. At minimum, I'm listening to an audiobook and reading a physical book, but most of the time it's multiple physical books and one audiobook. And that leads me into my next fact, which is I cannot follow a TBR. I am very, very, very much a mood reader, and I pick things up, put them down, pick them up. I try and find the right book for the right mood that I'm in. So I can't set TBRs for myself. I've been getting better at readathon TBRs, but that's because I know myself and I give myself way too many options to cover all the challenges. So that's been okay so far, and I've been doing quarterly TBRs, and that's been helpful, but monthly TBRs did not work for me at all. The only book that I've ever read in one sitting, aside from like a graphic novel, would be Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. And I distinctly remember, and even saying it was read in one sitting is a little bit of a stretch, because I went to the midnight release for the 7th book Harry Potter, just as Ginny Weasley, and I distinctly remember my sister and I got separate books. Up until then we had shared a Harry Potter set, but it would not have worked for us to share the last book because we both wanted to read it right away, and I was a faster reader but she was older, so we just ended up getting 2 Deathly Hallows books. And I remember sprinting to the car, which was parked across the street from the bookstore, and driving home after midnight. It was like 12:30, and climbing into bed and reading the first 3 chapters right away. Then I finally fell asleep, woke up, and read the rest of the book. And I don't think I'll ever have that experience with a book again. I think that experience is so unique and near and dear to my heart. Like, I look back on it so fondly. I don't think that'll ever happen for me again. I dog-ear pages, and I own a lot of bookmarks. I wish I used bookmarks, but a lot of the times I'll dog-ear pages, or I will insert whatever is closest to me. A lot of the times I use tissues as bookmarks for some reason. I don't know why. My least favorite genre right now is YA mystery. I definitely prefer adult mysteries over YA mysteries. I think YA mysteries is a tough genre to write, and I am very critical. If you have any recommendations, let me know. Please don't say One of Us is Lying by Karen McMahon, because I know that's really popular right now, but I've already read it and I did not like it. I have 119 pages on my owned TBR, so we're definitely gonna work on that this year. Hopefully we'll get it under 100. We'll definitely get it under 100. I started watching BookTube in 2014, and I started this channel in 2017. My favorite book to movie adaptation right now is probably Catching Fire. I think that's a really, really well done book to movie adaptation. I DNF books. I do not finish books that I am not enjoying, and I think that was part of the reason why I didn't have as many like worst books of 2018. But I'm okay with that. There's a high correlation between books that I push myself to read, even though I'm not liking them, and reading slumps for me. So DNFing is the solution. And my last bookish fact is a pretty simple one. I don't listen to music while I'm reading, but I want to start. So if you guys have any playlists or music that you think is really good while reading books, let me know. I know there's probably a bunch of Spotify playlists, but I would rather have your recommendations. And yeah, I just, for some reason, there's no reason behind it. I just never think to put on music while I'm reading. So that is it. Those are the 25 bookish facts about me. If you guys want to comment below some of your bookish facts, or if we have anything in common, let me know. I would love to talk about it with you, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye!